Hello everyone. Thanks for joining Lunch with Laura. This is Laura Lee Collet from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've been a Stampin' Up demonstrator since 2004. Now today I am going to show you a card that I cased. I'll add a few little things of my own to it, and you can see and learn some different things. First of all, if you don't know what CASE is, CASE is an acronym for copy and share everything. And that's what we love to do. We love to share what we do with everyone else. And while I've got this here, before I move my camera down, I just wanted to show you that this is the January host code. If you have any questions, comments, or need anything, my email is tobobette@gmail.com, or you can reach me through my website, stampin@thebirdnest.com. Now, I'm going to pull this a little bit closer so that I make sure everything's in the viewing area today. This card is made with the set called Lighting the Way. This is in the new January-April mini catalog that came out at the beginning of January, and this is what the cover looks like, all in our purples. And along with this set, you can get the embossing, the dies that go with it so that you can emboss, and this is what they look like. And I think the thing that not only the lightning bugs attracted my attention, but this adorable little lantern. And I did a card with it, but I decided to show you another one today. But let's see. I wanted to show you what the dies look like. The dies, when you cut them out, sometimes they're difficult to see what's going on with the dies. So I like to go through and cut them out and kind of put them together and see what's going on. So here's this cute little lightning bug that has 3 different parts to it, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. Then you've got these other little ones, and they are embossed. They've got little slits and details so that kind of stands out. Or you can stamp them and cut them out. Then it's got 3 pieces of greenery. And the bundle is found on page 18, and the stamp set is $23. The dies are $31, and if you get the bundle and get 10% off, it's $48.50. And you are just $1.50 away from getting Stampin' Celebration rewards. So the ones that are missing here are the ones that we're going to be using. So I'm going to put this aside. And I did want to show you which card I was making while I had this out. This one that is in the Fresh Frenzy is the one we're going to do today. And then I also did this one. It was similar to that and really cute. So let me put the stamp set aside and show you the materials that we're going to use today. I've cut my cardstock at 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Then I've cut out another piece that's 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock, or you could, if you have one that's cut down a little bit, this is the layer that's going to go on top. I'm using my mini cut and emboss machine today. This is the one that is in blue in the mini catalog and is offered as a joining special. So take a look at that. If you don't have any of these catalogs, let me know and I'll get you one in the mail, or you can always go online. I went ahead and cut this out because the die I was using was just, I mean, like 1/8 of an inch too large to cut all the way through. So this set of dies is called the deckled rectangles. I absolutely love these. They have a little rough edge around each one, and most of our other dies are smooth on the edges. They'll have some stitching sometimes, but these just, I don't know, these grabbed me when I started seeing projects with them. So I have gone ahead and cut out our layer that's going to go on top. The next thing, put that out of the way, I'm going to use our tailored tags, tailor-made tags, and this is the one I'm going to use for the sentiment right there. And I'm going to show you how to make this one smaller. Now, you don't have to have all these dies. It's wonderful if you do, but I just go through and find something that'll work. So use what you have and then buy new stuff to create some new and awesome things. As well as the fresh Frunzia that we're using for the card base and the layer, I've got scraps of paper for Daffodil Delight. That's going to be the little lightning bug's tail. The Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. Now these two are part of the in colors that are going to be rotating out this year, which just kills me because these are two of my very favorite ones. And then I've got a piece of soft suede for the embossing, the embossed sentiment right there. So let's do all our cutting first. And it's always a good idea to use some, I'm going to skinny that down just a little bit, to use some tape with it because things have a tendency to shift sometimes. And that might be big enough for the wings. And I'm going to cut all this at once. So let me show you how to go about doing that. This little guy right here is the lightning bug's tail. So I'm going to cut it out in the yellow. And I'm going to use some clear tape so that we can see it right there. This piece is going to be for the body of the lightning bug. And again, I'm going to use a piece of clear tape. Then this, the soft succulent, is going to be for his wings. And look there, that piece, that scrap works great. Okay. Now, I'm going to slide those through. And, okay, and I'm going to lay these right over here so they don't get lost. I keep a little magnetic thing on my desk so that I can, and a magnetic thing translates to a magnetic sheet that when I'm using dies, they don't get lost on my desk. I can put them up to be used until I'm through with my project. Okay, there's the little lightning bug. His body's still in there. I've got to get that out. And here was the tail. You know what else this looks like? I think it's the maple tree that makes a little bud like that. I think that's their seed. So that's another idea for using that die. Okay, here is the little wings that I just cut out. And I've already lost the little tail. So we'll have to see if we find him or I'll cut it out again. Oh, here it is. It was stuck to my plate. And I'm going to find my, let me get the little body out of the, oh, here's my paper pick tool. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, this is great for punching out your cutout dies. Okay, so now we've got all of that. And we need to cut out our other two little bees, lightning bugs. So let me get our, now these are the ones that are detailed. I don't know how well you can see that, but they're cute as they can be. And I'm going to do 3 of them. They only put 2 on the card. I'm going to put 3. And I think I've got enough room there to let those move around a bit, and they'll still be okay. Making my sandwich. And I'm going to run it through. Put them back on there. And look how cute these are. Okay, so we've got 3. Now the last thing I want to show you is how I made this tag this short. Now I used a smaller one because I had a smaller sentiment, but instead of using Follow Your Dreams, I'm using You Are All Kinds of Wonderful. And I actually need a little bit bigger piece of suede, which is right here, to give you the full effect. And now let's see if that's wide enough. That one's not going to work. Okay, we're going to go back to using this one. It's still going to be too long, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to that. But the first thing I want to do is stamp my sentiment on there, because I am using our white pigment ink. This is craft ink, and it's in the annual catalog. And I am going to be using our Embossing Editions Toolkit, which is in also, it's online. It's not in any of the catalogs at the moment. It was in the last one. But it comes with your little tray that I'm going to use to catch all my embossing powder. Tweezers that don't look like this. This is an old set. A brush, also from my old set. And you get a embossing buddy. And the embossing buddy, you use it to go on your stamp, where your stamped image is going to be, and it keeps it from collecting all the static. Now, here is our sentiment that says You Are All Kinds of Wonderful. So I'm going to ink up my stamp with white embossing. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. You can use embossing powder either with craft pads, with the white craft pad that I just showed you, oops, or you can use it with Versamark, which is our clear watermark. Once you've stamped it, you just sprinkle over your embossing powder, and this is what catches it. I'm going to use my little tweezers to hold on to it, because you're going to then heat emboss it using the heat tool. And this makes a little noise, but I wanted you to see what it looks like. If you've never seen this, it's like magic. Once it heats up, it puffs up a little bit and it makes that white really stand out. And what I always like to do when I'm finished is just kind of hold it up to the light and make sure that everything's shiny and not dull. And if you have a dull space, just go over it again. Okay, now we're ready for our little tag. Okay, and I want that to be centered. So let me get a piece of my paper that'll hold it. And that looks pretty good. Okay. Every now and then I run across a situation where it's the die is perfect, except it's either too long or too short. So, and I think that's much too big for this card, so I'm going to cut it down to right about here. Now, the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to fit this back in, and I want this bottom piece to be where it's going to be cut off. And you can put the die in and kind of wiggle your embossing, your cardstock, and find those little grooves, and that'll hold it in there. Now, see how this is not going to be affected. Only this is going to be cut off. So let me put our paper back down to hold it. And I'm going to make sure that it's right in those little grooves. And I'm going to run it back through. And you don't even have to go the whole way. You can go, let me see if you can see that. Okay, I know that it's gone over the hump. And let's see how it looks. Okay. Now, I could have just whacked it off, but you wouldn't have had the little stitching at the end. So this is a way to make your dies work the way you want them to work. Okay? And I'll put my die back on my magnetic sheet, clean up this just a bit. And the next thing we're going to do is put our card together. So here's our card base, and the card, the layer on top. If I go back and look, I can see in the example that it's darker around here. So what I'm going to do is take color on color, the same color ink as my cardstock, and a sponge dauber. And I'm just going to go all the way around here. And see how that's going to add a little depth to that? And it makes that deckled die, the edge of that, really show. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do is stamp the little branch of leaves right across. And I'm going to do it, kind of in the middle. Now, it was hard to see, but underneath, they used this little, I guess it's little stars. It's this stamp right here. Let me show you on the stamp set. And you can see this little thing here. And it's got little teeny tiny lightning bugs and then just little dots. Well, I'm going to stamp that in our white ink. And I don't think there's any rhyme or reason as to which way it goes. I'm going to do it about here. And I'm not going to emboss it. I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay? Now, we can start putting our card together. Here are my dimensionals. I'm going to, got one stuck on the back here, that I'm going to put on each corner. And I'm also going to put one in the middle, just to kind of keep it from sagging a little bit. And that's going to go right in the middle of our card base. And now, let's put this little guy together. Okay, we have our, and I am going to use the liquid glue for this because I don't want it to stand up from itself, so I'm not going to put a little dimensional on it. I'm going to put the ink the glue right there in the middle, if I can get it to come out. Oh, come on. Sometimes you have to take a pen and poke it. If I do it with my left hand, I do better. Okay. Now, and be careful after you've done that because it'll really come out. Okay, so we're going to take the body and put it right there over, and it fits perfectly. Then I'm going to put some glue on this little tail, the little light. I don't know if y'all are where you can see lightning bugs. You don't see them as much anymore, but when I was a child in the summer, we would run and chase lightning bugs, catch them, pour things in a jar, and they would blink, I guess, until they died. So this is the way that little piece goes. And again, it's got some little marks in it that give it a little bit of definition, and you can see that. And I'm going to use our mini dimensionals on him, and I'm going to let him go right here. But the first thing, Ziggy, I think she wants to go out. Okay, there are 3 dots. Let me show you what we're going to do with those. I'm going to take my little block. I like to turn my photopolymer stamps over. And what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to stamp a little white area right there. Then I'm going to come back and stamp with the next size. In the daffodil. And I'm just going to put it kind of right in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to take those off and put the little bitty little dot. And I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow where I'm going to be putting the other lightning bugs. Now, time to put things together. Okay, the big lightning bug is going to go right up here. And see how that makes him kind of look like he's glowing a little bit? Then I'm going to put the others. Oop, one flew away. Just so it kind of looks like he's glowing a little bit. I'll put this one here, and hopefully we'll find the other one in just a second. These things have a way of disappearing, especially the little ones. And it's probably on the floor. Now, since I can't find him, I'm going to use my little sentiment to cover that up. And I'm going to put it right here on the side. But before I do, I want to use a piece of our ribbon that is called, this is the Fresh Frenzia, and it's called, or Fresia, I don't pronounce that right, y'all forgive me. It is, I believe it's 3/8 inch. It's sheer in the middle and a little darker on the side. And it's $7 a bolt. It's in the mini catalog. I'm sorry, it's in the annual catalog along with all of the other end colors for this particular year. So all I'm going to do is tie a little bow there. Somebody's here. Okay. There we go. Well, I had trouble last week. Let me do it this way. Now, once you got your bow tied, if you can't tie a bow, just put a ribbon with a little knot. I'm having a fit with this ribbon today. I don't know why. I guess I should have cut it a little longer. This is 8 inches, and it would have been easier if it was just a little bit longer than that. And phooey. Let me cut a bigger piece. Okay. Did you know that on the bottom of the grid paper, on most of them, there is a ruler down here, which comes in handy when you need to do something like cut ribbon. Okay, now let's see if I can get it through. Let's try this again. It's better for it to be a little bit longer than to be so short that you get frustrated tying your bow. Okay, see, that's what it needed, just to be a little bit longer. Now I can shorten this. Okay, and I'll clip the little legs. Put some dimensionals. And I'm going to cover up that little dot that I put there that now I can't find the lightning bug. And there you have your little card that's been cased out of the catalog. But the last thing I wanted to do, we have these awesome flat pearls, and they're iridescent, so it really picks up the pink. And I'm going to put just a few of those around. And just because I wanted it to look a little bit different. And I'm going to put one of the big ones right here. Okay, so now you have it. I hope I've taught you some tricks that you'll find useful, such as cutting down that. And check out the samples that are in the catalog, because I think I mentioned this last week. It's also an idea book that if you don't know where to start with your stamp set, that's a good place to look. Back when I started stamping in 2004, you didn't go to Google for everything. And you could find ideas in the idea book in our catalog, but that's about the only place. And now there are ideas and samples everywhere. So Google the stamp set, Lighting the Way, Stampin' Up, and you can find all kinds of different and amazing cards there by all of our demonstrators, and not only demonstrators, but our stamping friends that share with us. So I hope you will try to find some ideas and get to stamping. I will see you next Thursday, Lord willing. Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend, and come back to have lunch with Laura on Thursday at noon, and that's Central Time. I'm going to put my move my camera so that you can see the code again and see how to get in touch with me. And please reach out if there's anything I can help you with. All right. See you next time. Love you. Bye.